Hey guys, welcome back. Man, I've been excited for this trip to Lake Fork. So leave out, go up here. Kevin's following me. As you can see on the map, these are the tracks I made over 3 days. So for 3 days, I fished shallow, deep, points, channel swings. I threw everything in the boat and I never got a bite.
Let's give you guys a little bit of report. So Lake Fork's been fishing really tough about the last 5 or 6 days.
Good evening. Tonight's top story, everything is awful.
Really tough. Really tough.
Everything is awful. Everything is awful.
So like I said, 3 days, I never got a bite. Kevin was there with his boat. He never got a bite. So here we go. Coming back closer to home, Toledo Bend. Asked Kevin where he wants to launch. He says 6 Mile. So here we are. I get started here in the back of this creek. Gonna check these flats out. I went up the bank a ways, swimming a jig, throwing a chatterbait. Moved out closer to the creek channel, following this ditch with a rattle trap, shallow diving crankbait. Move back over closer to the bank, and I throw a spinnerbait around there. Work my way all the way up in this pocket here, mixing it up like that. When I got into the back here, I even I flipped bushes. So I flipped a jig and I flipped my rage crawl. When this creek turned into just a channel here, I start working in here with a chatterbait. Had made it very far in this little creek and I caught this nice 2.5 pound fish. That fish kind of sparked my interest in these backwaters, so I went in there pretty deep, chatterbait and swimming a jig. Didn't have any more luck in these backwaters, so I spun around and made my way back out. Once I get to the mouth of that little creek, I caught this little guy on a chatterbait. Couple of small ones back in there.
I don't know what the deal is. You can catch them on a rattle trap. Evidently that's over with.
So now I work my way back out of that flat, follow the ditch for a ways, zigzag back over toward the bank, back and forth across top of that grass, still mixing up the same baits, you know, chatterbait, trap, shallow diving crankbait, and had a chatterbait on here when I got out here closer toward the mouth, and caught a couple more little short fish as I was working out, but still hadn't got anything with any size at all. So I called and checked in with Kevin, see how he was doing. He's been throwing a chatterbait around some stumps, and I think he's caught 7 or so, but he hasn't got any size either. So that's me worked up the drain there coming into this little pocket here. Stayed out closer in the deeper water on that drain. Didn't have any luck. So as I get toward the back here, I flip some bushes. Go around the bushes all the way into the backwater. So here in these backwaters, I'm swimming a jig, throwing up close to cover, work it past there, swim it on back. So nothing happening there. So I idle out, gonna go find another little pocket to try out. So I come around this point and work my way back up in this other little pocket. I stopped and fished on that point. Caught one small fish on that point, and I didn't stay there very long. So come back through here. I was working the edge of the grass coming into the back of this pocket. Once I got to the back, I did the same thing, flipped some bushes. The little brush that's in the edge of the water there, I fished around there flipping a rage crawl and a jig. Didn't have any luck. So I spun around and followed this drain out, staying in the middle of the drain, throwing an A-rig, working it across the top of that grass. The grass in the middle of these drains doesn't come quite as close to the surface as it does up toward the edge. So I was letting that A-rig fall, counting it down, and reeling it in just across the top of the grass. I had no luck in that pocket either. So as I come out of there, I fished this this bank coming around to this point, up shallower, 8 foot or so, throwing a trap and shallow diving crankbait around in there. So I moved on around that point and come into this other little pocket. So I get in this pocket here, I slowed down a little more. I threw a lizard around, drug him around these up next to the bank and worked it on out to 8 foot or so. Had no takers in that pocket, but as I got to the point where it turns to go into this pocket, I did catch a couple of short fish staging like right outside that pocket. So I fished around that point. Like I said, got a couple of short fish, worked my way down this seawall, and I didn't have any more bites after I left that close to the pocket. So I idled out around this point and worked my way into the back here. Checked in with Kevin. He's still about the same story, just catching one here and there. He's still working in stumps. So I move up here on this point and I decided to work my way out a little deeper. And I'm staying out in 12 to 15 foot of water now. So I'm dragging a Carolina rig around this point, staying out in 12 to 15 foot. So a couple more little 2-pound fish there off of that point. So now I decided I'm just going to focus on points, and I move over to this long tapered point coming out, again staying in this 12 to 15 foot range, and just dragging a Carolina rig. So on this point, I catch a couple more 2-pounders and I think 3 or 4 short fish. So move across over here to this little rounded point and I give it a shot. I think I caught 4 on this point right here, but they were all about this size, all real small. Moved around to another little point right here and caught another 2-pound fish. Managed to catch a couple of keepers off of this point and 2 or 3 short fish. It was getting kind of late in the day, so I moved back in that little creek that I started off in this morning, flipped some bushes and threw a chatterbait around there to see if some bigger fish had gotten more active. But again, only small fish. That's going to do it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. Lake Fork was a letdown, but that's just fishing. Sometimes you just don't get the timing right. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back on Toledo Bend fishing and housing. So hopefully we can change some things up and catch some better quality. We'll see you next time.